my lash still on? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, my name is Miss Imani. I'm glad you're tuning in. Make sure you are liking, commenting, subscribing, doing the works, hitting that bell so you notify when your girl uploads, because I'm doing it up this year. No more just talking about it, I'm actually doing it. If you haven't checked out my latest video, that was my life update, my me informing you guys about the new launch of my cosmetics line and my pregnancy update, because I am pregnant again, hence the tatas. So today's video is going to be about something that when I been on this journey of being a beauty influencer on social media, you run into a lot of questions, and when you go to ask them, most of the time they're unanswered. And the question that I posted on my Instagram story was that, why is it that influencers, or why do you think influencers / successful people are stingy with advice? And you guys went in on the comments. I had to screenshot them because I was supposed to do this video yesterday, but I'm doing it today. So let's see. I got about 12 responses, so I'm going to try to go through all. This is basically my opinion. So for all my influencers out there or successful people out there that feel like what I'm about to say is bull crap, or you don't agree with it, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like what I'm saying. It's just opinions, and of course everybody has them, but I just feel like with me personally, I don't want to be that person because I was once that person that needed that advice. So anyway, so like I said, the question was, why do you think influencers / successful people are stingy with advice? So the first person said, let's see, they don't want to see others winning just like them, also known as they're selfish. So, oh guys, my eyelash. Why don't y'all tell me what's coming off? Hold on right quick. Brief intermission. Yeah, that one. Okay, so back to it. Like I said, the first answer was they don't want to see others winning just like them, also known as they're selfish. Okay, so first of all, to answer that one, oh guys, bear with me because I feel like I'm getting a sinus infection and it really hurts. But so I think personally, with that being said, you know, you go through your journey as an influencer and no two paths are the same. Though it may seem the same because you both are beauty influencers, each turnout is going to be different. Who's to say that you're going to come across the same people, same situations or scenarios as the other person? So as far as them being selfish, that could be the case. So I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of this. I'm gonna give you the both sides of it, not just a one-sided opinion on it. So the non-selfish side of it to me will be, I don't think it has to do with they don't want to see other people winning. I think it's that sometimes they can get so focused on themselves that it can come off as selfish, but they're holding this journey dear to them, as do I, and they may not see it right away, or if they do, they don't want to give you some advice when you may not be at the same, what can I say, milestone as they're at. Or even if you ask for a specific milestone, I do feel like they may be like, you know, they may not have the advice to give to you, because some things do just fall in people's laps. In other cases they don't, they have to work for it. So in regards to that, honestly, I can say with that specific one, you do have people that don't want to see other people win, and I personally don't understand that, because we have this whole thing about empowerment, women empowerment, or whatever the case may be, whatever empowerment it is. But then when somebody asks for that same advice that you probably asked for when you were coming up, either their idol or mentor or whoever they looked up to at the moment didn't give it to them, so then they probably felt like, well, when I learn something, I'm gonna do the same. But I just feel like I'm gonna be different with that. I'm not going to treat my audience like that, or people who look up to me, or people who just want advice in general. I'm not gonna just be like, you just need to go through life on your own. Now in certain situations I may not be able to answer that, because I'll give you my advice, but at the same time it's up to you to take it. And then also too, your journey is different than mine, so my advice may not work for you the way it worked for me. So in a sense, I can give you pointers, I can give you heads up, but at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you that, you know, your journey is your own and you have to find what works for you. So honestly, that's like a teeter-totter thing. I can say that it could be a selfish thing, but at the same time, it might not even be that. Somebody said they're stuck up, I guess. You do have some influencers who are stuck up. They have their head way up there and they just feel like,
listen, you're coming to me asking me for this advice, you need to give me some money, you need to kiss my...
and you need to do all this other stuff. And I just feel like, humble yourself, sweetie, because it's just as quick as you got it, you can lose it, okay? And that's on that. So the other one was not being interested or genuinely being intimidated by what you potentially have. So there are some influencers who aren't really worried about other influencers. Their whole thing is, look, this is my job, this is what I'm doing for myself. So they may honestly just look at you and be like, I don't see it. Or they may not see the potential that you have or that other people see. Like, everybody's work looks different to somebody. Like, how can I explain it? Like, so you know how somebody might think they're all that in a bag of chips? You're not. And I say this, not saying that you're ugly or anything, but you don't look good to everybody. Meaning, like, everybody has their interest, or what's that word? What's preference? And I feel like there's certain things that, like, I may like, but another influencer may not like. I may like the whole glitz and glam cut crease makeup stuff, while other people may be like, I don't like all that. I'm a simple girl. Just give me one color eyeshadow and give me this stuff that I already have and I'm good with it. So honestly, I can see that. Now the intimidation, I do feel like a lot of influencers do fear for the next person taking over and potentially overshadowing them, but they got to understand that once you build your fan base or your audience, that is your fan base and your audience. They will always be there for you no matter what. Granted, yes, they might see the same person you see, and yeah, they might follow them and like their stuff too, but at the end of the day, they're going to be loyal to you at all times. For instance, Aaliyah J's army is her army. They will come for you. Just like when I say it don't matter what she does, she can never do any wrong. That's the army. Like, they have her back. That's her audience, and they're not gonna go anywhere. But not saying that they may not like, what's the word, another influencer like Makeup Tiffany J or Jackie Aina or Nikki Tutorials. It doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing. It's going to be competition wherever you go, but your brand is your brand at the end of the day. It's like the bread aisle theory to me. You go down this aisle and you see all this bread, same concept, right? But there's different brands on each of these breads, and at the end of the day, that brand is going to stick out. So ultimately, your brand is your own. So you have to realize, like, there's no need to be intimidated because now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that one person is better than the other, but you have to look at your brand and your image as a jewel. You have to be able to be like, this is what sets me apart from this person. Yes, they're new and they're shedding all this light and they're getting all this attention, but here's why they'll always come back to me, or here's why I'm already here. And it's not to outshine the other, but it's just to let people know, like, this is my brand and this is why you came to me in the first place. Another person said they don't want to give up easily what may not have been easy to obtain. So I agree with this completely. So I understand the whole thing of trial and error and getting it out the mud. I get that. Starting from scratch, it is completely tiresome. It's a headache in itself, and it will completely drain you. So I completely get why influencers sometimes feel like, why would I give you the easy way when I had to do blood, sweat, and tears with it? For me personally, you have these people called ask holes. And let me say this again because I don't want YouTube to think I'm cursing. Ask holes. And those are people that ask for advice but never take it. And I feel like at the end of the day, empty words mean nothing, obviously. So you can give somebody that advice all day, but if they decide to do not a thing with it, it's kind of like that's up to them. You can't get mad or be stingy with that advice because you never know what that person's going to do with it. You never know if they're going to come back around and be like, this was my mentor, this is the person I've been watching, looking up to for years, and I finally asked them for advice, and they basically was like, kick rocks. So I do feel like with influencers that feel like, you know, you need to work for it, you don't know who's asking for your advice. Whether it's somebody that's going to leave out with empty advice, who cares? If they choose not to do anything with it, that's on them. But then if you have people that's going to put action behind it, you never know who you're coming across. And at the end of the day, if they mention you saying like, hey, this person is the reason why I got my channel started, this person is the reason why I got into makeup, this person is the reason why I decided to go back to school, you never know. They might actually give you your props and tell you on their like, you know, this person was the reason, and people will see that I know that influencer, and they're just gonna know that now on a deeper level that you can be more personal. So I get both reasons as to why people may not want to give it up. So it says it's too much competition to be telling people the game. It's competition everywhere. We live in a competitive world. Everything we do is competitive. You got competitive prices. You got people competing to be the president. You got people competing just to be competing. Like, you got sports. We live in a competitive world. So I feel like at the end of the day, if your bag is secure, why are you worried about somebody else catching the bag at the end of the day? I'm sure Jeff Bezos isn't worried about, I don't know, the next man coming up. Who was that guy that, oh, I can't remember his name, Elon, whatever his name is, that does the Teslas. I'm sure neither one of them is worried about each other in their bag, okay? Another person says competition, of course, same thing basically. It says maybe they don't believe that person will actually use that advice. Once again, I go back to that. If they don't believe this person will use that advice, then that's that. Like, I mean, whether you give it or not, at the end of the day, advice is advice, and if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. And whether you find out or not that they didn't take your advice, who the freak cares? That's their journey. Someone says, get anyone anywhere. Experience is the best teacher. I don't know, I think that's a two-part one. Oh, it says they've been through the trials and tribulations, and just telling someone isn't going to get anyone anywhere. Experience is the best teacher. That's the thing. They're trying to get the experience. And this is, okay, so this is what's always bothered me about being a college student. You go out to get a job and they tell you you don't have enough experience, but the school sent you out to get the experience. How else am I going to get the experience if you don't help me get that experience? So my point being is that, yes, you're going to go through trials and tribulations on your own journey and path, but it never hurts to have advice. That's just like saying from your parent, like if your parent just doesn't give you life advice and they just feel like I'm not going to give you no advice because I don't want you to be better than me. Doesn't that sound stupid? Like, it's basically the same thing. Like, it has nothing to do, most of the time when people ask for advice, it has nothing to do with being better than that person or wanting to outdo that person. It literally has everything to do with, I look up to you and I feel like you're successful enough, or you're strong enough, or you've had that much experience that I should be able to come to you as somebody that looks up to you and say, hey, you know, I have a question about so-and-so, or do you have any advice for somebody just starting out? Now, I'm not asking you for the Krabby Patty formula, of course, but you know, if I'm asking you for advice, it's just advice. That's just like if I say, you know, hey, as an influencer, I'm trying to get better equipment, or I'm trying to get a better setup for my YouTube videos. Do you have any advice on what's the best products? Are you seriously going to be scared that when I get a better camera, or if I get a better lighting, I'm going to be better than you? Sweetie, I'm not worried about being better than you. I'm worried about being better than myself. I'm worried about being better than what I put out before. This has nothing to do with you, sweetie. Most of the time, a lot of these micro influencers, we don't care about being better than you. We don't care about surpassing you. Like, you're just a mentor to us. You're just somebody we look up to. We're just somebody that we like to watch on YouTube. Like, we like you. We just want your advice because we see that, you know, hey, I like the way their videos are. We're not trying to copy you. And if somebody does copy you, then, you know, copyright infringement, do all that other stuff, get your brand name on or whatever. But most of the time, sweetie, it's not about you. It's not. We're trying to be better than what we were before. Somebody says they're scared that new talent is going to come for their next. Okay, first of all, that's the thing about new talent. New talent has a hunger that's more fierce, and I do mean fierce, than some of these established influencers already. And I say that because their desire to be where they are, or their desire to have that dream come true of working with a specific brand or having their own collaboration or collection, it's throbbing because they've been wanting to get there for so long, and they see that it's achievable, and it's just the baby steps for them. Like, I'm still learning to enjoy every step that there is. Like, I have my business, but I also have this job that I'm doing, and I'm realizing in order to get to where I want to get to, I have to put the work in. So honestly, at the end of the day, with people coming for their neck, people come for their necks every day. Me personally, I'm not coming for nobody's neck. Only people's necks I'm coming for is these brands I'm trying to work for. I don't care about the influencers they have. That ain't none of my business. I don't care about their bag. What I'm coming for is them people, Maybelline. I'm coming from Black Radiance Beauty. I'm coming for NYX. I'm coming for all of them. I don't care about their influencers or what they have. Now, don't get me wrong. I love their influencers. Their influencers are amazing, and I love their work. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is my drive isn't to be like, oh, I want to replace this influencer. No. Mine is to sit at the desk with NYX, with Maybelline, with Black Radiance Beauty, with CoverGirl, and say, this is the reason why you need me with your brand. That's what I'm saying. Somebody said because they don't want to help someone take their place. So basically, a lot of these seem like that's what it's influencers are scared of, and well, the other established influencers are scared of. Why are you worried about the next person taking your place? You have your established name already. Can't nobody take your place, because at the end of the day, the work that you put in is the work that you put in. There might be similarities here and there. There might be some comparisons here and there. But at the end of the day, you're still set aside because of your name and your work and your work ethics. So honestly, that whole taking their place thing, they need to let that go. They need to let that go. It says, worried that they may be the person they give advice to will be better than them. Same thing. Honestly, so a lot of these just seem like taking their place being better than them. I feel like a lot of that, like I said, goes under all the stuff that I just said. Now, aside from that, another thing that I realized, in my personal opinion, about why influencers don't give advice. For one, they have a busy schedule, and half the time your DM is either going to get flooded with other DMs because people are constantly DMing them. They're busy and they're not going to be able to see your DM, or the specific way to contact them is through another agency. Some of these influencers will respond back to you, but it could take days, weeks, months, maybe years. But I will say, honestly, with that is, I really, and I do hope a major influencer sees this. Us micro influencers aren't trying to take your spot. We're not here for that. And we understand the whole, oh, you got to get it up out the mud. Trust us, we are. It's not about, we want the easy way out. It's not about, oh, fall in my lap so I can get there. No, because at the end of the day, the work still has to be put in, because you might give us the advice, but that doesn't mean that the specific brands that we want to work with is going to work with us. Trust me, I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I've had to put in work from the first day I started to even get the PRs that I have. Now I'm getting PRs from Pixie Beauty, Pop Beauty. I'm a partner with BoxyCharm. I worked with Il Makiage. I worked with Nika K, Kiss New York Professionals. I've had to put that work into Motor Brushes. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Hip Dot, freaking Cara Beauty. So honestly, with that, oh, and Absolute New York, you can see that right there. Like, I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. And my thing is this: I'm never going to stop the next person's potential growth. But I do know that at the end of the day, work is work that you have to put in. So advice is just advice. And if you take that advice and you run with it and you take off, I'm not going to be mad that you took off. I'm going to congratulate you, because it lets me know that what I'm doing is working. And not only that what I'm doing is working, but that you feel, what's the word, inspired enough to come and ask me like, hey, I see what you've been doing, do you have any advice? Whether it's advice on my setup, whether it's advice on makeup, whether it's advice just on life in general. If you want it, I just feel like I'm gonna give it to you, because I just don't want to be that person that people be like, oh, she does great work, but when it comes to her actual like nice side, or that side that's more intimate, it doesn't exist. So that's my thing with that, honestly. So with that being said, in regards to influencers, if you also in this video, if you have any other questions or any other reasons as to why you think influencers may or may not want to share advice, please drop them in the comments, because I really would like to know where people's heads at, especially people who are on YouTube or people who are working in general. And it doesn't really matter what your niche is, whether you're doing cooking, hair, makeup, gaming, whatever. If you asked an influencer something, or if you've always wondered this, please drop it in the comments, because I'm gonna be answering a lot of these, because I still feel like it's an ongoing thing at the end of the day, and I don't feel like it's all malice with the influencers that don't answer advice. But then again, at the same time, I still feel like a lot of it is because they feel like, why would I give you the easy way? I just don't agree with having to make somebody pay to say my information isn't free. Bitch, I'm not booking you, okay? I just asked you for some friendly advice, that's it. But if you feel like I need to pay you $250 for you to answer a question, I'm good. I'll either figure it out myself, which I've been trying to do anyway, or I'll go ask the next person that probably be more inclined to tell me and give me a simple answer, as opposed to you wanting all the extras. But honestly, guys, that's my take on that. But feel free to drop it in the comments and let me know what you guys think, because I honestly feel like a lot of the time these influencers either aren't paying us any mind, or they see what we're saying and they're like, I'm not finna answer that. And I feel like if they're being that way with malice, then that's on them, and that'll get dealt with in its own time, because you attract more bees with honey, and eventually that ugly side, or that stingy, selfish side, is going to come out. Because I always feel like it's okay to be selfish if it doesn't affect others, meaning like if you need to take a personal day, if you need to take a mental health day and regroup, it's okay to focus on yourself sometimes. But don't be so, what's the word, overly selfish to where you're like, F that next person, I don't care about them, I'm not gonna give them any information, there ain't nobody to me. That's the problem when people nowadays, I feel like you ain't nobody. Everybody is somebody. They may not be you, but that's okay. They were made to be them, and their brand will speak volumes. And don't be the one to be like, oh, they asked me for advice when they was in this stage. Okay, advice is advice. People go to get business advice, and that's all it is. You don't hear some people out here talking about some, oh, you need, well, okay, well, some companies, they do feel like, oh, well, if you want some business advice, you need to pay for it. Or I could just go to this forum, or I could just go to somebody else that I know that isn't going to make me pay an arm and a leg, or isn't going to make me pay at all, just to get some advice. Like, I think once before I needed some legal advice in regards to a management company, and he wasn't like, oh, give me $1,000. He was really like, you know what, because I don't want to see you get hurt, or because I don't want to see you go through something that you don't have to go through, here's some free advice, here's this, and here, I can also hook you up with this person so they can help you out if you need more information. It's not that hard. I promise you it's not that hard. But honestly, guys, thank you guys. You know what? No, I ain't even end it there. I feel like there's so much more that can be said to this, but for the sake of this video, I'll probably end up doing a part 2. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, join the family. Like I said, comment below if you feel like there's any more reasons as to why influencers / successful people do not give advice to people that are coming up in the same industry that they're coming up in, because I feel like this is an ongoing thing, and I would love to address more of these comments in another video. But thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.